Selamat siang. Welcome back to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is June 8th, 2022, and my name is Bruce. Selamat Hari Raya Galungan for all of you that are celebrating today. And it is a quiet day in the kampung and really windy. What is the weather like today? The wind speed, 31.9 kilometers per hour. And the temperature, 32.4 degrees Celsius, and humidity, 60%. But there are a lot of dark clouds over to the east, so we may be getting some rain today. And some good news today. This is another good news day. Just a couple of notes about what I am not going to talk about today. And this may go a little over 20 minutes because there is so much and I've cut out a lot. One, I am not going to talk about the news that's been around about the digital nomad visa. There was an article in Bloomberg's and another article I saw today in a New Zealand media. There were no details in this article. And, well, the digital nomad thing, that's already been on the table since, September of last year, I think. But when the prices came out a few months ago for the new visas, what did you not see? You did not see that digital visa there. What you did see was that 6-month visa and the Bali second home. No details have been announced on that. So I am not going to be talking about the digital nomad visa now. If it comes, well, and there's something more official, I will talk about it. And I am not talking today about the Australian PM being in Indonesia because there just isn't enough time. But I know over 60% of people that watch this channel are Australian. If you want to say something about the visit, I welcome any comments that you have. And otherwise, I will bring up something about that on Friday. First, let's take a look at the numbers. And the numbers are a little disappointing today. They've gone up. National new cases, 518. We're over 500. That's the first time in a while. National recoveries, 350. National deaths, 2. That's good news. Bali new cases, 23. So our numbers have gone up a little there. Bali recoveries, 7. And Bali deaths, 0. So numbers are still basically stable, but I don't like that going up over 500. That's not a good sign. I'm not sure why that happened. And there have been no reports in the press about any worries about the numbers spiking up. And in fact, the main story is good news. Bali has reached level 1 PPKM. The community restrictions are now at level 1. Wow, finally. That is so great. Is that going to change our lives really here? Not much. Today, Balinese people who are celebrating Galungan have received good news. This follows the central government's decision through the instruction of the Minister of Home Affairs to move Bali to its lowest level, namely level 1. According to the Secretary of the Bali Province COVID-19 Task Force, Imade Renton, I've talked about many times, PPKM of Bali Province and Regency cities throughout Bali is level 1. The decline of PPKM to level 1 certainly provides relaxation of rules for Balinese in their activities, starting from places of worship, shopping centers, entertainment venues such as cinemas, activities in shopping centers, malls, trade centers, all have a maximum capacity now of 100%. Now, in actuality, that's been going on for quite a while. Nobody's been looking at 75% as far as I know, but it's official now, so that is cool. The validity period for the PPKM level 1 for Bali is from June 7th, yesterday, until July 4th, 2022. Okay, so we got over 3 weeks of being at level 1, and let's hope this is a good sign for things in the future. And a second main story, and this is a big one if you are going to marry someone here of a different faith. MK to review marriage law over request about interfaith marriage. The Constitutional Court, which is MK, on Monday announced that it will soon hold plenary sessions for the judicial review application that was lodged against the Marriage Act and how it oversees interfaith marriages. So if you've been around for a long time, or if you are planning on getting married, you probably learned about this already. You have to be the same religion to get married in Indonesia. Now you can go outside of Indonesia and get married, go to Singapore, say, or back to your home country if you're a foreigner, but you cannot get married here. You have to be the same religion. The MK official website on June 6 states that the inaugural plenary session will hear statements from the House of Representatives and the President. The plaintiff for this judicial review comes from a Catholic background, and he lives in Papua. And in his application, he said that he intends to marry a Muslim. So you got a Catholic and a Muslim. No, in Indonesia, can't do it. He specifically questions Article 2, 1 and 2, Article 8F, which generally oversee the validity and prohibition of marriage. Article 2 of the Marriage Act reads, a marriage is legally valid if conducted under religious laws of the people conducting the marriage. Meanwhile, Article 2 states, each marriage is recorded according to existing laws. Article 8F reads, marriage is prohibited between two people who have a relationship by their religion or other applicable regulations. It is forbidden to marry. The plaintiff argues that these stipulations have caused him to lose his liberty to hold a marriage, which includes religious beliefs. As he says, one individual in the marriage will be forced to subdue their faith to conduct a marriage. And that is true. For those of us who don't have a religion, well, you have to pick one up. You've got to make one. And so if you're marrying a Muslim, you're going to convert to Islam. If you're a Christian and you're going to marry a Muslim, one of you has to convert. Now in Indonesia, where religion is taken very seriously, this can be a major problem. So this could be a big change for foreigners coming in who have a partner who has a religion that's different from their own. So let's hope that something good comes out of this. The main story on Monday was about Borobudur, right? And basically the whole thing was about Borobudur. And as expected, a lot of feedback coming out and some clarifications and some complaints. Let's take a look at them. Borobudur Temple's steep entry fee to conserve deteriorating historical structure. The president director of Borobudur, Prambanan and Ratu Boko Temples said that the steep prices will only be charged to tourists who plan to enter the actual temple section, while the normal fee of 50,000 will still apply to those who enter Borobudur's park area. That 50,000 is for local people. It's around 350,000. Here it says $25 US for international tourists who just want to come into the temple area. And everybody says, well, you can take photos of Borobudur from there and get some nice photos. You don't need to climb up. The president-director explained that the Borobudur temple has shown signs of deterioration, which the management believes is caused by over-tourism. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the temple's average daily visitation reached levels of 10,000 tourists daily. Wow. He added, temple management supports the government's plan to supply tour guides for in-depth temple tours. And I know that there are some complaints about that already. This is an area where people can be trained to talk about, like docents in museums in the US, for example. They can be trained to talk about what Borobudur is, the history, the meaning, religious significance, the historical significance. Not just follow them around and make sure that they don't do anything bad. But how is that going to work out in actuality? Well, nobody knows. We just have to wait and see. And of course, Pak Sandiaga Uno has to get into this picture too. Government takes conservant approach to Borobudur Temple, Sandiaga Uno. So our tourism minister said that the government is taking a conservative approach here, trying to preserve the Borobudur Temple, that this is not a commercial venture in increasing the price. Pak Sandiaga Uno said, with the special ticket price set at 750,000 rupiahs, we hope it will bring a better quality of tourists. Wow, here we got the better quality of tourists coming again. And that 750,000 is for local people. For foreigners, $100, which is around 1.4 million rupiahs. Pak Gunung said that limiting the number of visitors is inevitable given the limited carrying capacity of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. He said, according to experts' calculations, the temple can only accommodate 1,200 per day. I would like to hear from some of these experts, not just have it fed to us through ministers. I'd like to actually hear from an archaeologist, an anthropologist, a historian, a museum specialist, somebody besides just government ministers. According to this article, the figure is equal to 10 to 15% of the average daily number of tourists before the COVID-19 pandemic. Pak Sandiaga said that the government had mulled over the social and economic impact on the locals and ensured that efforts were in line with community-based quality tourism, which is a concept that focuses on recovery, starting from the economic recovery of the locals and sustainable tourism, he emphasized. And one final segment here, Buddhist leader comments on Borobudur entry fee plan. Okay, now we're going to hear from some Buddhists, some people that are going to be impacted by this. The leader of the Mendut Buddhist monastery, Sri Panyavaro, gave a press conference on Monday criticizing the government's plan to increase the fees. He said that there are going to be many Buddhists who are less fortunate that will not be able to visit the community's sacred site once the policy is implemented. He urged the government to avert from solely focusing on people's financial abilities upon controlling the number of visitations to the temple. Borobudur management insists that the new entry fees are not motivated by commercial reasons, as students are prioritized and given the bigger portion of visitation quota with 25% of the daily 1,200 visitations, and are also only charged 5,000 rupees. Another argument for imposing these new prices is that it will better filter tourists to explore the temple and make sure that they are tourists that intend to learn about the history of one of the largest Buddhist temples in Southeast Asia. So a lot of talk about this, and this has hit the international news, and so I expect that we're going to hear more from the government and more from community people about the price increase, and it will be interesting to see how this turns out in the end. Expect Sanur port to be completed ahead of G20 summit, says the mayor of Denpasar. The mayor said, in addition to bolstering the tourism sector, the establishment of the port aims to support the community's spiritual ceremonies, and the completion date is scheduled for September 2022. Furthermore, he said, considering the high mobility of people between Denpasar and Nusa Penida Island in Kelungkung district, the development of the port is necessary. So his administration will design several port supporting facilities so that the port can optimally benefit the community, micro, small, and medium enterprises, that's the MSME, as well as other business actors around the area of Sanur. In addition to the mayor of Denpasar, the transportation minister, Indonesian transportation minister, was on this tour, as well as the governor of Bali and a number of other officials, because these guys, they go in groups and have a lot of fun. The construction of the port is currently 81.08% completed, higher than the target, which is 71.16, okay? The G20 summit will be held in Bali on November 15th and 16th, and the port should be operational in October. Let's get on to next story, and this is some more on some local tourism. Well, local tourism and tourism outside of Bali as well. PLN builds 27 EV charging stations in tourist destinations. Okay, what is PLN? PLN is the electric company. And what are EVs? Electric vehicles, EVs? Okay, so these charging stations, locally known as SPKLU, I didn't know that, are being built around the island in order to support the development of environmentally friendly tourism. Good idea. PLN's business director for Java, Madura, and Bali, Pak Haryanto, said that there were 5 leading tourist destinations where EV charging stations are being built: Borobudur, Prambanan, Bali, Lombok, and Labuan Bajo. He said, we're ready to support green tourism in Indonesia by readying electricity infrastructure, and it can also serve as a chance to promote the importance of shifting to electric vehicles, he said yesterday. According to him, the utilization of electric vehicles for tourism purposes that connect the main points of tourism, such as airports, hotels, and tourist attractions, is expected to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector significantly. So it's nice that Indonesia is taking at least parts of the environmental movement seriously. We've still got a lot to do here with cleaning up the sea, cleaning up the beaches, and well, Bali can only do so much about this. There's a lot that we can do, but we've also got the rest of Indonesia, we've got China, we have all the other countries in the world dumping trash in the ocean, so it's not just Bali. According to the business director, we are preparing the SPKLU network to support the presence of electric vehicles in several other tourist destinations as well, which will happen in October 2023. And that's Lake Toba, Likupang, and Mandalika. Oh, Mandalika. Well, Mandalika's in Lombok. I already said Lombok. Oh, anyway. The PLN president said that the use of electricity in the transportation sector has more benefits in terms of cost and emission levels. He said PLN is ready to provide abundant and clean energy-based electricity supply to encourage this electric vehicle ecosystem in Indonesia to become massive. It's time for a shift from fossil energy to environmentally friendly and abundant energy in Indonesia. Aside from the charging stations, PTPLN also provides home charging services with a 30% discount for charging at customers' homes from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The company has also established public electric vehicle battery exchange stations, or SPKLU, for two-wheel vehicles. To facilitate customers finding the nearest charging stations, PLN has added the electric vehicle feature to the PLN mobile application. I didn't even know they had one. Okay, reason for me to go and look for that today and download it. Okay, on to another topic, and this is something you should pay attention to, especially if you do a lot of online shopping like me. Buying drugs containing psychotropics in e-commerce. West Jakarta resident arrested by police. Be careful when buying drugs online or in e-commerce. You may have bad luck, like what happened to a woman who was arrested by police for buying drugs that are classified as psychotropic. This case became known from the upload of an IG user. IG user said his brother-in-law, okay, first it said it's a woman, now it's a brother-in-law. This is one of the things with Indonesian, if you translate stuff, you've got to have context when you're trying to decide if it's a man or a woman, if they don't specifically say it. If they just use the pronoun is the same, right? So the IG uploader said his brother-in-law was arrested by the police in West Jakarta on Friday after buying a drug called Analsic. Analsic is a drug containing methylprom and diazepam. Ooh. And the drug serves to reduce moderate to severe pain and headaches due to psychological factors and neuralgia. Diazepam belongs to the group that is considered a psychotropic, and its contents produce a calming effect on the central nervous system. I used to take some when I was going through some surgeries on my shoulder, and it does produce a calming effect. So this fellow said his brother-in-law bought the drug because his doctor prescribed it, but prices on online stores are cheaper than buying them in real life. He assessed that his brother-in-law did not know that the drug contained psychotropic substances because the drug is sold freely in the marketplace. And this may also happen to other people, and yes, could happen to any of us. So his brother-in-law was eventually arrested by the police as soon as the package arrived. He was taken to the police station for questioning. So he ordered his stuff online. It doesn't say where he ordered it online from, but he ordered it online. Somebody must have tipped off the police that a package was coming with some drugs in it. And they were waiting, and when he got the package, boom, they got him. So he said, now we're really confused because the lawyer appointed by the police asked for $60 million. Wow, so we can go home immediately. He explained that his brother-in-law was finally released on Saturday. However, he did not specify the reasons for his release, so who knows if he paid or not. The West Jakarta Police Narcotics head said he was not aware of this specific case, but that people need to be reminded that they have to have a doctor's prescription to consume drugs containing psychotropic substances. He said, "We are investigating the report, but what is certain is that using Class 4 psychotropics without a prescription is a violation of the law, except for treatment that is prescribed by a doctor. If you buy Class 4 psychotropic drugs with a doctor's prescription, you will be subject to a criminal act. So be careful what you're buying online." And some more on drugs, and this time home. Okay, yesterday I was visited by a member of the military who's in charge of this area to check and make sure everybody is registered here and nobody is living here without the proper papers. And he heard there was a foreigner, and so he came over to my house to check me out and, wow, to write down every detail about me. And he was telling me about this story. About this drug thing here in Singaraja that I didn't know about, and then I saw a story last night. Revealed ASN to the head of environment buy methamphetamine at the Apotek Tom. The National Narcotics Agency, BNN, of the Bulang Regency is currently tracing a list of customers for methamphetamine houses raided by the Bali Police, BNN. In the list of customers, it seems that there are state civil apparatus, ASN, people, as well as environmental heads who regularly buy narcotics. So, government employees buying narcotics from this drug house, apparently. The head of the Bulang BNNK, Gede Astawa, said his party was continuing to coordinate with the Bali BNNP to track down the crystal meth customers. He's deliberately tracking the customers in the hopes that they will be free from their drug addiction. He said, "We're also investigating. Are they just users or are they circulating as well?" So everything is being followed up. Among the customer lists that they've gotten so far, his party found one ASN who was a narcotics consumer. BNN immediately conducted a urine test on him, and it turned out that he was positive for crystal meth. Pakastawa said, "We have rehabilitated this ASN, but he reappeared. This is the danger of narcotics because it can happen again. We're still assessing the level of dependence." It seems to be a little more lenient than when foreigners get caught, or some low-level dealers. If the level of dependence is high enough, it will be possible that the ASN person will be hospitalized at Bangli with the hope that his behavior can recover. Okay, I am not in favor of throwing drug users in jail. Drug dealers, yeah, sure. In addition, the Bulang BNNK also found an individual head of the Environment Agency in Bulang District on the list. When the urine test was performed on this person, the results were also positive. Apparently, the neighborhood head often consumes narcotics along with ASN officers who are secured by the BNNK. So we've got government employees getting high on meth. The entire customer list is being traced. We provide an opportunity for anyone who's consumed methamphetamines to report themselves so that we can rehabilitate them. Okay, that's good. If they're caught later, they will definitely be prosecuted. So turn yourself in now, ask for leniency, go through a rehab program, or get busted and take the chance of going to jail. Meanwhile, the head of Bulang Subdistrict, Nyoman Riang Pustaka, said his party was still waiting for written notification from the Bulang BNNK. If proved to have consumed narcotics, the person can be dismissed as a contract employee. He said, "It really disturbs the credibility of government officials. I hope all employees don't do things like that. We're very supportive if BNNK conducts urine tests in all sub-districts in Bulang." So BNNP Bali has succeeded in dismantling a drug syndicate involving a family in Bulang, and they live not too far from here. And carrying out the action, the perpetrators opened a special pharmacy for drug users at their residence on Jalan Gajah Mada, which is just down there where the post office is. If you saw one of my videos, my walking videos, that's where Jalan Gajah Mada is. It was revealed during the examination that a family who was secured consisted of a father and son and two of their accomplices, and this is going on in Bulang. So when Instagrammers and influencers say Bali is a paradise and it's a real place with real people with real problems, and when you're here, you should remember that as well. It will help you treat local people better. It will help you sympathize, empathize with their problems. And so that is it for today. A lot of stuff here. So good news about getting to level 1 and the court review of the interfaith marriage problem. I hope something comes up there which is favorable to people that want to get married, even if their religions are different. If you found this video useful, helpful, informative, scintillating, non-irritating, amusing, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Videos are loaded Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and a cooking video on Sunday. And this week's cooking video is not going to be cooking, actually. It's going to be making those cute little decorations that Sue makes, and people have been asking about that, and so that will be up on Sunday. Thanks for viewing. Stay safe. Be kind to someone today, and I will see you on Friday.